The Phipps family is well known for their palatial mansions in Old Westbury and in Palm Beach, but few have ever heard about Hal Phipps homes. With rooms clad in gold and centuries-old architectural salvage, it's easy to ask ourselves what happened. Hi everyone, Ken here. Today we are uncovering the forgotten Phipps mansions. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. At the turn of the 20th century, a young man named Henry Carnegie Phipps, better known as Hal, stepped into a world most of us only dream about. Born in 1879 in Pittsburgh, Hal was part of a newly minted American aristocracy. His father, Henry Phipps Jr., was the lifelong friend and business partner of Andrew Carnegie. Together they built Carnegie Steel, one of the most powerful industrial empires of the Gilded Age. When the company was sold to J.P. Morgan, Hal's father walked away not just with millions, but with a new sense of philanthropic purpose and a mountain of wealth to pass along. Hal grew up surrounded by the expectations of his fortune. He graduated from Yale in 1902, mingled with the right families, and when the time came, married into one of the most prominent of them all. In 1907, Hal wed Gladys Livingston Mills, the daughter of financier Ogden Mills and granddaughter of Darius Ogden Mills, a titan of California's gold rush era. Their wedding, held at her family's palatial Staatsburg estate, was covered in the social columns, and their registry reportedly tallied over $1 million in gifts. Around that same time, Hal made a fateful real estate decision. He purchased an estate from a man named William L. Stowe, a wealthy financier who had commissioned a spectacular home in the Roslyn area of Long Island, today known as Old Westbury. Designed by a young John Russell Pope, who would later become one of America's most celebrated architects, this house was something extraordinary. Built between 1900 and 1903, the home was originally known as Stowe's Mansion, but Hal and Gladys renamed it Spring Hill. Built from brick and covered over in a creamy stucco, this Beaux-Arts palace was topped off by a red tile roof. The house had been positioned on the property's highest point, propped up by a marble-clad retaining wall to separate it from the gardens below. As we make our way down the wide stairs, we can glance out beyond the balustrade to see this all come together sculpturally. Down below we find the water garden, with pea gravel paths for meandering about. As we look back towards the house, we'll note that the entire stretch of windows between the columns is the ballroom, which we'll see soon enough. As we continue down the terrace, we'll pass between life-size lion statues looking towards the sea in the distance. We could get lost in the paths that wind off into the dense forest, so I think it's about time we made our way back around front to the forecourt. Here we find the main entrance, tucked away between massive columns. Let's head inside. First we'll dive towards the rear of the house to find the 15th century hall, which doubles as the ballroom and extends from wing to wing as the largest room in the house. The room is paneled in half-hide black walnut with a Venetian red velvet brocade continuing to the coffered ceiling, and architectural salvage has been incorporated throughout, including the serpentine columns of the fireplace, which originated in a much older Italian church. To one side of the hall we find the dining room, its floor composed of a Renaissance marble mosaic. The walls and ceiling are finished out in a vibrant green, with gilded details all about. To the other side of the hall is the aptly named Gold Salon, which contains heavily gilded woodwork framing in a pale green brocade which continues from floor to ceiling. Continuing through the mansion, we come across the library, finished out in black walnut with relief work and motifs meant to evoke Venetian Renaissance. The couple expanded the estate over time, continuing renovations that made the house feel even more palatial, with more gold, more marble, and more artisan touches throughout. But Spring Hill wasn't the only architectural jewel of Hal Phipps. In Palm Beach, Florida, where the social season glittered beneath the sun, Hal and Gladys built another masterpiece, Heamaw. The name, a nod to the seminal phrase, "come here," reflected the home's inviting presence, though it was anything but simple. Conceived by architect Francis Hoffman Jr., who had also designed Villa Vizcaya in Miami, the home was inspired by Italian villas with interior courtyards and terraces that opened to ocean views. Heamaw featured additions by the famed Palm Beach architect Addison Mizner, and it had everything from saltwater pools to a gardenia garden designed for the family's white peacocks, and even a Galapagos-sized tortoise named Whitley. In time, it became one of the grandest homes on Phipps Row, a stretch of North Ocean Boulevard where many of the family's Palm Beach estates clustered together. No matter the season, the Phippses knew how to live. At Spring Hill, the summers were filled with elegant lawn parties and garden walks, and in winter, they entertained at Heamaw, playing polo games along the surf. When they weren't at either estate, they could be found yachting, golfing, or at Camp Chaleur, their rustic but no less exclusive fishing retreat. Hal passed away in 1953, and Gladys continued to summer at Spring Hill until her passing in 1970. But what happened next is a sobering reminder of how even the grandest homes are not immune to time. Hal and Gladys' son, Ogden Phipps, inherited Spring Hill. With his own estate nearby and facing steep taxes, over $70,000 a year just to maintain the now empty house, he made the difficult decision to raze it. In its place, the croquet lawn was converted into a helicopter pad, and the house that had once been hailed as a Renaissance palace was gone. Heamaw didn't fare much better. After Gladys's passing, it was sold for just $625,000 to a new owner who left it unguarded. Vandals ripped it apart. Priceless architectural details, Mizner coral stone, carved wood moldings, marble staircases were all looted or destroyed. Some ended up in Belglade, where an insurance company grafted salvaged fragments onto its office building. But by 1972, what was left of Heamaw was bulldozed. What Hal and Gladys created at Spring Hill and Heamaw was more than opulence. They built a lifestyle, a legacy, and for a time, they helped define what it meant to live large in America's Gilded Age and beyond. Their homes may be gone, but at least we have these photos to remember the craftsmanship and planning that went into each. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. Which of these houses was your favorite? Let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.